Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 99 of CWR and the first episode of Season 2. This is Asylum and I am the Ripper Danny B. We're kicking this thing off, ladies and gentlemen, with a 2-on-2 tag team matchup. Revolution Rules tag team matchup, and it is for the brand new World Tag Team Championships. And we're finally back, baby. It's taken me a couple of weeks to get going. This has been an issue. We've had some technical problems, but we are here. We are going to get going, and there's one of those technical problems right there. This is for the brand new World Tag Team Championships. General Manager Edge, the Rated R Superstar, has commissioned these titles and said we're going to kick this entire thing off with a bang. And he's picked out two teams who he thinks deserve the opportunity. And I'm not surprised with this first pick, introducing first, representing the Wyatt family, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. They are the former tag team champions. Back in Season 1, they lost the titles at Immortality. In fact, no, they won the titles at Immortality from the Machines. They lost them to Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose of the Shield. And in Exodus, they've been drafted away from the current Revolution Tag Team Champions, and now Luke Harper and Eric Rowan have the chance to hold Tag Team Gold once again as they take on a mystery Tag Team opponents. This is going to be so good. This is the way we've kicked things off. The format for this year is going to work slightly differently, and I will go out there and admit that I am still kind of working out the kinks as we record these things, but things will get better over time. But this, of course, is not the only huge matchup we have on the card this evening. We did promise, and we are going to get a World Heavyweight Championship match this evening. Now, this is quite surprising. I guess the Rated R Superstar has gone on record in the past to say he is a big fan of these two men. Please welcome Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the Revival, making their debuts here on Asylum. The classic show is Asylum. We're going to have that World Championship match later on as Dolph Ziggler, the current World Heavyweight Champion, takes on John Cena one-on-one, and we're keeping this cycle short, ladies and gentlemen. We are less than 2 weeks at this point away from the Survivor Series, which is going to be a huge pay-per-view, and we have a massive announcement straight away before we even get kicking that at Survivor Series, the general managers of Asylum and Revolt have agreed to a one-on-one match. We will see Edge versus Goldberg at a Survivor Series. It should be absolutely epic. And there you are, your first look at the brand new World Tag Team Championships. This is what this match is for. Revolution Rules Tag Team, which, if you are brand new to the CWR, first of all, welcome. Second of all, a Revolution Rules Tag Team match means that both men from each team are legal at the same time. There are no discounts. No disqualifications and no countouts. The first man to score a pinfall or submission will win the match for his team, and in this case, of course, that means will become the inaugural World Tag Team Champions. Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder making their debuts here this evening. A very interesting choice from the general manager, but as I said, Edge has said he is a fan of these guys, so it's not a surprise. And of course, putting in former World Tag Team Champions Luke Harper and Eric Rowan makes sense as well. And it's very, very interesting considering when the draft was first announced, Harper and Rowan were actually on the other show. They were originally drafted to Revolt, and they were a very high draft pick for Revolt. But since the draft went on, if you haven't heard the news, Harper and Rowan were actually traded to Asylum for Roman Reigns, meaning that Revolt got their tag team champions, and Asylum benefits from getting two men. So there you go. Now it's Scott Dawson going for the first cover of this matchup. Eric Rowan kicks out just after the 1 count. And it looks like Dash Wilder is going to go to the outside. Now he's changed his mind, and Rowan is right back into this thing as Luke Harper continues on now. You've got to think the chaotic standard of a Revolution Rules tag match actually favors the Wyatt family members, Harper and Rowan. Dash and Dawson are very much more traditional tag team wrestlers. There's a cover here from Luke Harper, who only gets the 1 count on Dash Wilder. Dawson and Rowan now on the outside doing some damage out there. Harper with a running powerbomb to Dash Wilder. The pinfall in this match must take place inside of the ring. So right now, Dash Wilder, it looks like, has the great advantage as he hits the swinging neck breaker on Luke Harper. Follows out with an elbow. Old school wrestlers of the Revival. One other big announcement to make at this point as well, ladies and gentlemen, is during the draft we announced that Dynasty would be a standalone show that would contain its own roster. Since that time, the Dynasty brand has changed. We go for a cover here from Luke Harper. There's one. Dash Wilder kicks out just after the 1 count. That has changed. The Dynasty stars that were originally drafted to that show have actually now been drafted across the board. They are now part of Asylum, Revolt and Horizon. Dynasty will still exist, but it will be a platform for new stars to compete to earn their shot. At this point we don't have a lot of new stars, so we will see some other stars go down there from Asylum, Revolt and Horizon to work with the new men and women. But that's going to be that. Dynasty will not be making its debut till after the Survivor Series regardless. Here's the cover from Luke Harper. He gets almost a 2 count there on Dash Wilder. Still no 2 counts to be made in this match as Dawson and Rowan are still on the outside and Scott Dawson has been in complete control. And at the moment I say that, of course, Eric Rowan manages to get an elbow to the gut and changes things around now. Look at Eric Rowan on the outside. Looks like he was going to go for the chokeslam, and Dawson had it scouted as Harper continues to assault Dash Wilder on the inside. Of course, a sledgehammer has been brought in, and now all 4 men back inside the ring. Scott Dawson is just going to town on Eric Rowan, and look at that, Eric Rowan is now busted open. Scott Dawson, old-fashioned beatdown there, has busted open the big man, and Dash and Dawson of the Revival, they give up something in strength, they give up something in power in this one, and even in experience realistically, especially within the confines of the CWR. Nice driver there, DDT from Scott Dawson, and he looks like he's going to twist the legs up of Eric Rowan as Harper hits and look at Scott Dawson, he's got that inverted figure 4 locked in on Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan is in trouble, and there it is, there's the tap out, they've done it. Scott Dawson just made Eric Rowan tap out in the middle of the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, here are your winners, and the first, well, in fact, no, let's look at the replays first. This was a cover early in the match from Scott Dawson, who kept the pressure up on Eric Rowan throughout the entire thing. Luke Harper did have control of Dash Wilder for a while, tossing him like a ragdoll there before going for a cover. And apparently we're going to be looking at another pinfall cover here from Luke Harper. This is when he nearly got the 2 count. And again, this is while Dash and Harper were in the ring alone. Dawson and Rowan were on the outside at this point still. And the DDT there from Scott Dawson before he locks those legs, those huge tree chunks of Eric Rowan into the inverted figure 4. And Eric Rowan just had no reprieve. And as we watch it, Eric Rowan just scraping, but eventually there it is, he taps out, giving the win to Dash and Dawson. So here are your winners, and the first World Tag Team Champions, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the Revival. That is the way you kick off a brand new season, episode 99 of Asylum, the first one of season 2. But now, of course, we have to move on as Dash and Dawson celebrate with the titles, their new titles, in the ring. Now we're going to go to a decree made by the general manager Edge early in this evening. He has declared that the new hardcore champion will be decided, and here we go with that match. He said the first 2 men to meet me in the backstage area will compete, and we're going to look at some highlights from this match. It was Apollo Crews versus Kofi Kingston. The first man to knock the other one clean out cold would be crowned the new hardcore champion, and Crews just showing what he's known for there. His power combined with his speed, sent into the locker room by Apollo Crews was Kofi Kingston. Crews just keeping the pressure up on Kingston. A huge gut-wrench suplex onto the concrete floor there. Apollo Crews just had this thing in control. Kofi Kingston had his moments, but Crews there with that enziguri. Kofi did not get up, and Apollo Crews was crowned your first hardcore champion. But Apollo Crews wasn't done for the night, because he had a scheduled match against this man, the must-see, The Miz. And so here we see Crews now coming in with that hardcore title, and as the rules of the hardcore title state, if the champion is in action, then the champion must defend the belt. So Crews was forced to defend the hardcore championship this night against The Miz in his scheduled match after winning it backstage. And I think Crews could have caused himself some damage. He may have gotten hurt, he may have worn himself out a little bit, because when it came down to facing The Miz, there was the 1, 2, and Apollo Crews was still able to kick out of that particular one. The Miz not very happy, thinking he could have gotten this one, thinking he had this one in the bag. Crews put up one hell of a fight, there's no denying that. But the right hand from The Miz turns it around. The skull-crushing finale sticks Apollo Crews into the mat, and The Miz took the win with the 3 count. Apollo Crews fought valiantly, but at the end of the day, your hardcore champion is The Miz. An opportunist if there ever was one. The Miz, your hardcore champion. We'll have to see how he plans to defend that belt in the future. You've always got to keep eyes on the back of your head as hardcore champion. But now, without any further ado, let us move on to our main event. And your main event this evening is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the CWR World Heavyweight Championship. Introducing the challenger from West Newbury, Massachusetts, Mr. Hustle, Loyalty and Respect, John Cena! John Cena, a man who entered the Revolution relatively late last year. He's back right at the very beginning this year, baby. He took on The Undertaker at Immortality and came up short, but that still earned him a shot, a chance at the #1 contendership. He battled Finn Balor at an Exodus and was able to come out on top. John Cena lucky enough to be drafted to the same brand as the World Heavyweight Champion, and now he gets his opportunity of a lifetime, one-on-one with the champ. This is exactly where Cena likes to be, and we all know what John Cena is like in big match situations. This is a hell of a night for the champ. Cena is going to give him everything he's got. Never give up. That is John Cena's motto, and tonight, more than ever, he may just live by that rule or die by that rule. And his opponent this evening, residing in Hollywood, Florida, he is the Beast Slayer, the show-off, the World Heavyweight Champion, Dolph Ziggler. Brand new redesigned World Heavyweight Championship belt there, and I do realise the side plates are off. Somebody put the wrong ones on. But Dolph Ziggler finally achieved his dream at an Exodus as he defeated Kevin Owens for the world title. All of last season, Dolph Ziggler was aiming towards that title. He used Brock Lesnar. He beat Brock Lesnar to get a chance, and he screwed it up. He entered the Rumble and didn't make it. But finally, after defeating The Rock at Immortality, Dolph Ziggler was granted an opportunity of a lifetime. And now we have the introductions of the superstars. The challenger, John Cena, #1 contender. Defeated Finn Balor to earn his opportunity to be here this evening. John Cena is not going to let that go to waste. His opponent, the World Heavyweight Champion, the man that I was just explaining, achieved his dream in the co-main event of an Exodus. And it was the World Champion Dolph Ziggler. But beating Kevin Owens when all the fire to prove yourself is behind you is one thing. Beating John Cena on your first night in, well, that's something else altogether. If Ziggler is able to win this thing here tonight, he will very much prove that he deserves to be World Heavyweight Champion. And there's the bell. John Cena and Dolph Ziggler. And it's Dolph who comes out the gates fast, quick. Nothing too surprising there from Dolph Ziggler. He wants to get John Cena down and out early. He's not going to be wanting to mess around. He's not going to be wanting to risk the opportunity he has before him now. Dolph Ziggler is just keeping up the pressure. He's not messing around whatsoever. He knows what he's got on the horizon. Whoever wins this match will go on to defend the belt against Kevin Owens at Survivor Series. That has already been decided. Kevin Owens cashing in his rematch for the title at the Survivor Series in less than 2 weeks. Now, John Cena, this is a no disqualification match. I should have probably mentioned that. Cena going to take full advantage of that, but Dolph Ziggler not going to let it happen. And Cena has Ziggler up against the barricade now. And for the first time in this match, realistically, John Cena is now in control of this thing. Dolph Ziggler took over very early on. Cena had to weather that emotional storm, and he seems to have done so. And now John Cena just going right at Dolph Ziggler. A nice suplex there by the champ. Or should I say, the man who wants to be champ. Dolph Ziggler coming back out of it. Jawbreaker, but Cena gets the arm drag in, and Dolph Ziggler is now on the defensive once again. And this is not where Dolph wants to be. He is certainly outmatched in power by John Cena. Dolph has got to use his speed and his agility and his stamina to outdo the leader of the C Nation. Cena's been chomping at the bit for weeks to get his opportunity at this title. Now Dolph Ziggler has taken control once again. John Cena does go for the attack. This is just going back and forth on the outside now. And every time I call a move, the other one gets a chance in. Dolph Ziggler has managed to take advantage of the situation now. He's going to go to work on the arms of John Cena, which is probably a very clever move. Try and remove the attitude adjustment from Cena's arsenal. And a nice German suplex there. Dolph Ziggler paying homage to the fact that he is known as the Beast Slayer. Of course, that match took place, last March? Defeated Brock Lesnar one-on-one. He was all over Brock all over the time back then. It just slipped away from Dolph. He didn't capitalize on it. He earned a spot in the Elimination Chamber. Just wasn't able to take advantage of it. The Royal Rumble didn't go his way either. Dolph Ziggler eventually, finally, after beating The Rock. I mean, who else can claim that in their first year here in the Revolution, they beat Brock Lesnar, they beat The Rock, they competed in the Elimination Chamber. Dolph Ziggler was all over the place last year, and he finally, towards the end, got his chance. He took advantage of it, no end. His first one-on-one match for the title, and he walked away champion. And Dolph Ziggler in trouble as John Cena, utilizing those deadlift gut-wrench suplex, says... Smashes Dolph Ziggler into the chairs. Now this is a problem for Dolph. I mean, whoever survives this match, regardless, they're less than 2 weeks away from a battle with Kevin Owens, and we all know Kevin Owens is the destroyer. He will take anyone out in his path. You have to know the former champ is watching, a man who was able to defeat Shinsuke Nakamura at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. With a little help from Bray Wyatt, admittedly, it was able to retain his title at Immortality in a triple threat match against Wyatt, the Royal Rumble winner, and former champ Shinsuke Nakamura. And you do have to think as well, Bray Wyatt and Nakamura both watching and both waiting for their opportunities to get back into the title hunt, as are probably former world champions Sheamus and Big E. But there's a famouser from Dolph Ziggler. Here's the cover. 1, 2. John Cena kicks out. 2.5. Dolph Ziggler. He's annoyed at himself. He should have had that opportunity there. John Cena is not going to go down easy now, and we all know that. Ziggler is not done yet. He's going to try and look to finish this one, and he does with a zigzag. Will that put Cena away? There's 1, 2. And once again, John Cena rolls the shoulder up. Dolph, frustration starting to show now. Ziggler hit the biggest move he has in the zigzag, and Cena did not go down, and Dolph Ziggler is not going to let John Cena just get away. We're kicking out of that move, and there's the kendo right across the back, and another to the spine of John Cena. Cena is not going to stay down. This back and forth match continues. Dolph Ziggler trying to keep up the pressure now, trying to stay in control. He cannot let Cena get on the roll. Nobody builds momentum quite like John Cena. There's 1, 2. Cena's still kicking out. Dolph delivering the knee right to the top of the spine there, but John Cena seems to throw it off. An attitude adjustment. That came out of nowhere, but Dolph Ziggler was ready for it. Elbows to the face. John Cena nearly stole that one from Ziggler, but Ziggler was not having any of it. Throwback from Dolph Ziggler. And you can see Ziggler now is just trying to keep the pace a little bit slower than he usually would. Elbow drop. Still got time to show off, has Dolph Ziggler. And another cover here from the Beast Slayer. There's 2. John Cena still in this thing. Dolph Ziggler starting to show his frustrations now. He's got to be careful as Ziggler. Cena will take advantage of a lapse of judgment. Knee to the face. John Cena just... What, he felt that. Ziggler put everything he could behind that knee, and you can see now John Cena has been busted wide open from that knee. It's the second Crimson Mask we have seen this evening. Dolph is not done. Famous number 2. Once again shoots the half and gets Cena into the cover. There's 1, there's 2, and John Cena still in this thing. Ziggler is going to start to go a bit balmy in a minute. He's hitting Cena with everything he's got. Cena should be... Any normal man would be down by now. John Cena going for a quick cover here on Ziggler as he... There's 2. He managed to sweep the leg and was not going to wait for Ziggler to get right back into this thing. Now Cena going after the legs, wrenching on that knee. There's an elbow to the spine there. John Cena's rather large elbows coming down on the small of the back is going to hurt anybody. There's 1, 2. Dolph Ziggler stays in this thing. And the world title hangs in the balance. Cena looked to be all but done for just a few minutes ago, and now he's completely in control of this matchup. elbow after elbow from Cena. And the crowd are coming alive as John Cena says, "You can't see me." 5-knuckle shuffle, baby. Cena, though, he's been worn down by Dolph Ziggler. The back has to be hurting him, but at this point, John Cena is in trouble, and John Cena looks like he's going to end this thing once and for all. Cena gets him up onto the shoulders. Attitude adjustment connects. That is it. 1, 2, no! Ziggler just rolled the shoulder up. Ziggler is not going to give up on the title that easy. He worked way too hard to become champion, and John Cena is not just going to take it away from him in his first defense. And look, Cena has now busted Ziggler open as well. And Ziggler comes back, zigzag! Drops for the cover. 1, 2, 3! What a match! Back and forth, all over the place, just kicking the ever-living hell out of one another. Ziggler there going for a cover early in the matchup. That could have been following the first Famouser. This one possibly following the first zigzag. I don't know why our production manager decided that every pinfall needs to be replayed. I prefer the big moves, you know, but there we go. There's another cover here from Ziggler. And this is about when Ziggler started to lose frustration. That was following the attitude adjustment there from John Cena towards the end of the match. There's a 2 count. Ziggler just about rolled the shoulder up in time, but following the second and final zigzag, Dolph Ziggler gets the 2. The referee's hand comes down for the 3. And he's done it. Here is your winner and still World Heavyweight Champion, Dolph Ziggler. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the first episode of Season 2 of CWR, and on Asylum we have seen 2 new champions, well, 3 champions crowned realistically. Ladies and gentlemen, my name has been the Ripper Danny B, and we'll still see you tomorrow for the first episode of Horizon. Take care and keep it sweet!